Hey everybody, Alex Miller at Capnia. You may have seen my announcement yesterday. We're going to do this iOS development project in broad daylight for you. And our main goal is to show you how to use Ghost PII to build applications that have a level of privacy and security you're not going to get anywhere else. But there's a couple other things you could get out of it too that I want to point out here before we get down to brass tacks. So first, if you're interested in learning iOS development, we're not experts. So we're going to be going through a lot of basic stuff. It's a great learning opportunity for you if you're trying to get into iOS development. More our core mission, if you're an experienced iOS developer, we want to talk to you about some exciting new tools you can use to level up your game. And then since, I know what people are really interested in out there is AI, we're going to use Chat GPT for some things and then talk about what some best practices are. So two best practices I've been emphasizing, and we're going to talk about why we think they make sense in this example that my colleague Jack Phillips is going to go into in a second. You need some kind of cheap quality control, whatever you got from your generative AI widget. Do you have a good way of noticing quickly if it's busted? And then we're sending a lot of information to OpenAI about what we do by using ChatGPT for this. And in this case, the whole point of this project is it's broad daylight. We're not giving anything away to share with OpenAI. What we're intentionally sharing with you. But if you can't tick either of those boxes, you could run into trouble. And we're going to go into a particularly weird example that came up in making this video in a minute. But first, let's talk about the basic facts. Jack, do you want to bring up your example?
Yeah, absolutely. So here, like he mentioned, I'm not an expert in Swift or iOS development. It's a language I haven't used in years. So the syntax and class declarations, function declarations, that kind of stuff is things that I would have to go searching through Apple's documentation to find. Or in this case, I decided to get a working example from Chat GPT, just asking it to write me a basic login page, and out pops some really useful stuff. It shows you how to create let variables, declare functions, declare classes, and well, a lot of this stuff doesn't actually work. The login page that it provides isn't hooked up to any backend or any validation. It's a good starting block. But as you look through it, you do need to be able to tell which areas of the code is good. Like obviously just creating a button, that's fine. But the places down here where it's adding constraints and stuff, you might want to fix that as a quality control check. And also, you wouldn't want to come here to Chat GPT and ask it to put in your server address and ask it to do some validation and give it a bunch of information about your system that you'll actually be doing the validation on. You'll need to do that kind of part yourself as well. And another interesting thing is ChatGPT won't give you the same thing twice, even if you use the exact same words. Sometimes, like in this case, it does the whole page programmatically, deciding everything here in Swift. Other times, it'll just make some declarations and rely on you to do it in Storyboard.
Yeah, and so I probably know less about iOS than anyone involved in this. This is foundational code you need for any iOS app. Is that correct? I really
Yeah,
like your term. I think it was building block. Maybe I screwed it up. I think that's exactly the right idea. Is that because this is a foundational thing you need for every app? My sense of it is, as someone who's supposed to be here to manage risk and make the right decisions, it seems like there's some immediate discipline, right? About is this the right code? What else does it need to be plugged into? And of course, it's got to work. Is that was that your experience?
that's exactly been my experience. It saves me a lot of time because I don't have to go scraping through the documentation to figure out what the basic syntax is for a language that I haven't used in years. But once I have that syntax, it provides me a foundation, a few building blocks uh, from which I can create the rest of the thing.
Yeah. So I'm just going to recap because I'm trying to present advice to everybody out there. Clear quality control. And then also, we're not giving away all our cool secrets. I think the thing you mentioned about repeated use of the same prompt is really interesting. And honestly, it's a really scary property that these chatbot have. So look for more on that in an upcoming video.